A couple of days ago, a numerous number of people were actually able to get an interview with WB Montreal, more specifically Patrick Redding and Fleur Marty, and ask them questions about Gotham Knights, and this has provided an excellent insight into the game and actually puts a lot of fans' worries to rest. So to start off, they made a lot of interesting comments about the combat, which has been a big worry for a lot of fans, as it wasn't the same old free-flow combat from the Arkham games. Redding has said that they have gone through and iterated on control schemes over the course of the whole project, but it will be comfortable to people who are familiar with third-person brawler type experiences. So it will be fairly familiar to what we have experienced in the past, but it will have had a huge overhaul on the combat. You will still have special moves in the game, and accessing them will be different from the Arkham games. You will have both attack and defensive choices, and you will also have a range of combos and variations in attack types, so different ways that you can actually attack the enemy. You can also use your own ranged and melee weapons in these combos to build them up. You can also unlock special abilities for your characters, and that is linked to an ability tree for all of them, and you will get to use your gear with a more strategic approach, thinking of how you want to approach a situation and what gear you can use to win in said situation. A lot of the combat in the trailer did resemble Arkham combat, however. There was still a stealth takedown,
This will only take a second.
a drop attack, an evade move, a special bat swarm ability, a dual team takedown,
Dad, you're it.
and there were still counter symbols. So even though they are taking a different direction with the combat in this game, similar elements will still make it over to this game, building off of that Arkham combat DNA. The comments made about the open world are genuinely fantastic and amazing. This Gotham will be absolutely huge. It is an open world right from the start, so nothing will be blocked off and unavailable when you begin, and there will be no level gating whatsoever, so you don't have to level up and get to a certain point to access a certain point in the city, which is very good news. The city is actually split into 5 distinct boroughs, which are spread between several islands that all connect via bridges. Each of the 5 boroughs connects to different families and has their own unique history that obviously you will have to uncover and explore throughout the game. There won't be crowds of people in the open world, but there will be traffic and there will be citizens roaming the streets, giving us our first fully populated Gotham. Citizens will avoid being run over by the players, but you can drive the Batcycle into the middle of an enemy activity and springboard yourself off, landing into a combat situation. You can actually also accept quests from the NPCs in the world, which could be anything from random crimes to stories leading to supervillains, which is a really cool and interesting inclusion in the game, and will allow you to build an important relationship with the people of Gotham. As they said, it is important how you interact with them and protect them. As you become stronger and more powerful within this world, you will see a sliding scale in terms of the level of enemies, but also the type of enemies that you will come up against. As you level up, the enemies will become smarter and level up with you, and will deploy more attacks and defenses when coming up against you. There will be no grind needed in this game, so you don't have to grind a mission to level up and get good enough to beat a certain villain, which is fantastic news. When you encounter an open world crime, some enemies could be weaker than you, and then again some could be stronger. You're presented with the choice of how you want to approach these situations, being able to swap out equipment, take a more stealthy approach, etc. Your own character can be vastly different to someone else's. For example, you can have different upgrades for your melee and ranged weapons, a different ability tree, and a different outfit. The character skins are a mix of pieces of armor and full outfits, and you can actually upgrade your gear to improve your suit style. 2 players can actually play with the same character in the world, as you will most likely have 2 separate character builds. Now, a lot of people have actually moaned about this and have complained about it being immersion breaking. I do understand that and I do get that, but they won't actually be forcing this option on you. You can literally decide to not play this way, and most people probably won't, so I don't really see a problem with this. The game will not be a games as a service game, as many people had actually speculated and quickly jumped to that conclusion. This has been repeatedly said by the devs. Just because there is an ability tree and gear does not mean it is a games as a service. The game is a single self-contained story which can be experienced entirely in solo, and if you do experience in solo, you will not miss anything out if you do. You can play the single player completely offline, and the game will never force you to team up with other players. Another really interesting thing is that you can play the game entirely as one character, but if you do want to switch, you can by going back to the base of operations, the Belfry. There will be multiple villain quest lines that you can tackle throughout the game at the same time, which appears to be what the Mr. Freeze gameplay was. This game will take place over multiple nights, spanning weeks or even months, depending on how you play and how far you get through the story, which has been something the community has been asking for ages. The daytime segments will take place in the Belfry, where the Gotham Knights can be without their suits and can interact with each other, along with being able to communicate with Alfred. At the Belfry, you can actually analyse all of the clues that you've picked up during your last night of crime fighting and begin to solve the numerous mysteries that are in the game. You can craft new gear and prepare yourself for the next night of crime fighting. And to finish off, they tease that more stories could be told within the Gotham Knights universe, meaning DLC or a sequel is very possible. Considering that it hasn't even been a week since the reveal, and we've already gotten this much information, proves that the game will release in the first half of 2021, most likely this summer. But what do you guys think? Please tell me in the comments below and subscribe for more Gotham Knights videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!